Hey, Richard here. I'm your electrician buddy. And have you ever gone to the store to get a light bulb and you're going, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm looking at? I see that happen quite often. And the reason why is because they've changed everything to the LED lights. Well, check out my video because you're going to find out that just with 2 letters, you can understand a lot about LED lighting. And also you'll understand why at times they'll flash. How do you make dimmers work correctly? So check out my channel. My name's Richard, your electrician buddy. Welcome back. This is Richard. I am your electrician buddy. And I'm going to take just a few moments and I want to explain to you about the details of LED lighting. Now, if you're like I am, when all this LED lighting came out, it was probably quite confusing. I know it was confusing for me, and I've been around this industry for over 40 years. So I thought, it would be nice because the last time I went in the store to look at light bulbs, I'm like, what in the world am I looking at? You ever feel that way? Well, I know I did. And there was a number of people there and they're like, they're not sure what to buy. In fact, just recently, I was trying to buy some lights for my overhead lights here in my kitchen. Now these lights, I'm trying to figure out, okay, I want to get something that doesn't hurt my eyes, keeps the atmosphere I want, and yet also have it bright enough when I need it to be. So let me give you some hints. First of all, just 2 things to remember when you're buying the lights. 2 letters, the letter K and the letter L. Now, first of all, the K. What does the K actually represent? Now, if you get into the technical part of it, you're going to find out that it stands for a term which is called Kelvins. And so that is the light, warmth, or cool levels. Now, for example, and so the K, the lower the K number, the warmer the light. The higher the K number, the brighter or the more intensity, the coolness of the light color. So it has to do with the color of the lighting. So K for color, if that makes it easier. K for color. So let's just explain why that's important. Say in your home, you want to be able to come home and relax. Well, it's kind of hard to relax if you're sitting in an environment where the lights are so bright and intense, you feel like you're in an operating room. See, that's because those lights then have a higher K rating. So the lower the K rating, the warmer the light. So the standard K level in a house is probably about 2700. And depending, if you got a room or maybe you got a laundry room or an area where you want a little bit higher, the cooler color, well then you would go up a little bit and you can jump it up in increments. I know they have it all the way up to a 5K light, but that's very intense on your eyes. It's very cool. So keep that in mind. K for color. See, that's a very easy thing. The next letter is the letter L. Now, L stands for lumens. So, for example, the old incandescent bulbs, say you would buy a 60-watt bulb or a 100-watt bulb, 75-watt bulb. Well, the watts in LED lights, we would compare that to lumens then. So that is how much light or how bright now you want that light to be. So say, here I got some light bulbs here. Let me show you. So here's a standard light bulb, LED bulb. Now it says, these ones right here are comparable to a 100-watt replacement. So in the lumens, it says here the lumens would be 1600 lumens. And you'll notice the K on this, here's a little scale, warm to cool. These are 27Ks, 2700K in reality. So hopefully that helps you to understand. So K for color, L is for how bright, let's just say how loud you want that color. K for color, L for how loud you want it. Very easy. Just think of those two letters. Now, LED lighting, I'm going to teach you one other thing here as well. LED lighting is completely different than the old incandescent we used to do. I recently had a friend of mine call me up and he was having troubles with his lights, LED lights working, because that's pretty much all you can buy anymore. You may be able to find a few of the old incandescents kicking around, but he couldn't figure out what was wrong with his dimmer. I mean, that dimmer's worked fine for years. Well, it's because LED lights do not work on the old type of dimmers, the incandescent type of dimmers. And it's because an LED, the way they work, it's a little electronic component, it's a little diode that emits light. And so in order for that LED to work, inside of that little light, for example, in this light bulb, if I was to bust the top open right here, there would be a little platform or a little flat surface in here with the little LEDs, those little diodes that light up, would be sitting there. Well, this just doesn't go from the power into those little LEDs. It has to go through a little component. Now, because we know the way they make stuff now, even computers, those little components are really small, but it's called a little driver. And so that driver then controls the intensity or makes that LED work. So if you were to have a dimmer installed, it has to be an LED dimmer, but now your LED bulb has to be dimmable. So keep that in mind. If you're going to start dimming your lights, which I have dimmers all throughout my house because I like to be able to control the atmosphere of the lighting in our home. So if you have a dimmer, it has to match the LED format of dimmers and also be able to control a light that is dimmable. So hopefully that helps you when it comes to that. And something that also to remember about LED lighting. Now, LED lighting is completely different than the incandescent form. Remember the old incandescent form of lights? If that light was on and you went and touched it, what would happen? You would get burned because it was so hot, because that's the way that element worked. It worked off of heat. So as you turned it on, it would get hot, and that little heat, glowing heat, is what you got the light from. Well, LEDs don't work like that. See, they work more on a cool setup. And so inside of there, again, there's that little driver, as we refer to it as, that little electronic components in there. If that gets hot, your light bulb's not going to work, because what happens is it breaks it down and it quits working. And for example, in my kitchen, on my kitchen ceiling here, I had a number of the bulbs and they started flashing every so often, especially when I first turned them on. And that's because, not because the LED was going bad, but because the little driver inside. And so that little driver there had been susceptible, had gotten too warm, or it could have even been possible that maybe the voltage to it, perhaps something broke the circuitry to it a little bit, slowed it down, whatever it was. But anyway, it made it to where it wasn't getting adequate voltage, and it ruined the little drivers in there, and they start flashing. And so that's why when you get a light bulb, these LED light bulbs, they can last for years, but it has to be in the perfect environment. And also because the components are meant to work in a certain temperature. And so we don't want them hot. We want to keep them just what they're designed for in that cooler environment. So hopefully this helps you. And in return, if you could just subscribe and maybe hit the like button, because by doing so, it helps me to put out more videos like this for you to help you, because let's face it, I want to be your electrician buddy. So please subscribe. And hopefully you've liked this video, and please look at my channel. I'm going to be putting on videos quite frequently from now on. Have a good day.